Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be looking at everything you need to know about Leo. So this video is for you if you do have a lot of Leo placements, maybe you have 1 or 2 Leo placements and it's going to resonate, or if you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. Very excited to be getting into this video. So let's go ahead and get started with the basics. Leo is a fixed fire sign. Fixed fire sign, what does this mean? Very much fixed in their ways. They can be stubborn, they can struggle with the ego, not just because they're Leo, because Leo already struggles with the ego, but also because they are fixed. Fixed signs, all of them deal with ego in one way, shape, or form. Leo is going to be represented by the sun and the 5th house. What is the 5th house? All things to do with creativity, the inner child, being seen and feeling seen. And where does this come from? Most of the time with Leo energy, actually all fire signs, it comes from some sort of issues with the father. All of the fire signs in one way, shape, or form are unconsciously trying to get the attention of the father. Now I'll get more into that shortly. Before I do, I also want to mention that Leo does deal with the heart in terms of your body, the spine, and the upper back area. Makes sense. It is the heart chakra. In terms of chakras, I've been assigning chakras for all of the signs. For Leo, since it does deal with the heart, we'll give it the heart chakra. It makes sense. They do have a huge heart. They're really here to give as much of themselves as they can, but if they get burned, they're going to shut themselves off, which also means in turn they're going to be dealing with their solar plexus, which is going to be their ego as well. So there's always going to be a push-pull energy with the Leo energy of heart chakra in terms of, again, giving, love, wanting to be loved, all about love. Like that's really what this placement's all about, because the 5th house also does deal with love, dating, and relationships. And then there's going to be the ego aspect of things in terms of maybe you guys got burned, maybe you guys got betrayed, because the Leo sign is very much loyal. You guys value loyalty so much. So if you guys got betrayed in any way, shape, or form, the walls can come up. You guys are going to drop that person almost immediately. The pride is going to get in the way, ego is going to get in the way, and you might just have walls in general, especially when it comes to love, dating, and relationships. So with a lot of these signs, the way that I personally see them is that whatever the sign represents, you're here to master exactly that. It doesn't mean just because you're a Leo, you're going to be all about love and loving and, want to be in a relationship and, be like excited and creative all the time. What I notice tends to happen more often than not with all of the signs is that is the exact area they are meant to master. So it's like you guys can look at the sign as like you guys are meant to master this. You guys are meant to master love and dating and relationships, being in tune with the inner child. But to achieve that, we got to integrate the shadow aspects. So that's why in these videos, I've been going over the shadow aspects of all the signs and the divine version, and we want to integrate those shadow aspects, maybe even unconscious aspects of ourselves that we may have. Also, one more thing that I do want to mention before I start going super into detail is that Leo is represented by the Strength card in the tarot. What does this mean? Again, it's the lion, it's the courage. You guys can kind of look at it as a lion from Wizard of Oz, where it's like the lion didn't have the courage. So you guys can kind of look at all these signs in this way, where it's like this is what you're working up to. So you guys are going to be very courageous, almost stoic in the sense where it's like it's masculine energy. If you think about it, we all have these energies within us, masculine and feminine energy. Whether you are male or female, you're going to be masculine energy dominated. So what does this mean? You're going to be a go-getter. You're going to go after things that you want. You're going to be very much a presence. Again, you want to be seen. The sign needs to be seen. That's the thing with the Leo energy overall. You guys need to be seen. I always say if there isn't a stage for the Leo energy, you guys are going to create a stage for yourselves. So again, it can go either in the light aspect where you guys are expressing yourselves creatively. It can be theater, it can be comedy, it can be acting, it can be all these sorts of things. Or it can also go into the shadow where it's like if you guys aren't getting the attention, you guys can be dramatic. You guys can create dramas around you. There can be gossip. Again, anything to get the attention on you. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard the term where it's like any publicity is good publicity. Like that's Leo energy, where it's like whether they're doing something good and exciting and they're getting the attention, or whether it's negative and they're still getting the attention, the most important thing for them is that they are getting the attention. And where does this come from? It comes from that wounded inner child, because Leo does deal with the inner child of not being seen by the father, because it is the masculine energy sign. So that's kind of what's going on with this whole sign. That's kind of what's going on behind the scenes with the energy of Leo. You're going to notice a lot of the time you're going to have entertainers, sometimes entrepreneurs are going to have this placement, sometimes even athletes. All of the fire signs in one way, shape, or form are going to be interested in athletics. They're going to have that fire energy within where they need to burn the energy. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a top pro athlete. You guys could just be interested in exercise, going to the gym, just basically burning off the fire energy that you have. You guys are always going to want to be on the go. You guys are probably going to have a lot of friends. Your friends are going to love you. And again, love is the name of the game for you guys. So as long as you guys are getting love and attention and admiration, you guys are going to be happy. And that's the thing for Leo energy. Sometimes I find this energy, like if you observe a Leo from like the exterior, all they need is someone to compliment them, recognize them, admire them in one way, shape, or form, and the Leo person is going to get super excited, almost to the point of naivete, if you guys really think about it, because it's like, again, the Leo energy is desperately seeking this. And sometimes what might happen with this energy as well is you guys might fall into the shadow of oversharing. it's interesting because we have Gemini, that's a very chatty energy, also can be oversharing in terms of their energy, but you also have Leo. Leos can also be chatty. They can also have a lot of friends, and they can overshare their information, aspects about their lives, maybe even their plans and their goals. And sometimes, unfortunately, this might affect you guys. So it's interesting to see. It's a very interesting energy because it's like as childlike as it can be. And when I say childlike, doesn't necessarily mean that you guys are immature. It just means you're very in tune with the inner child. There's a purity to this energy is really what that is. As childlike as you guys can be, you guys can also fall into the shadow of the walls come up. You guys feel burned. You guys don't engage in this anymore. But it's like Leo energy is ruled by the sun. And at the end of the day, the sun is always there, whether it's a cloudy day, whether it's a sunny day, whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, the sun is always there in the sky. And that's the Leo energy. So sometimes you guys might feel like you guys have to always uplift everyone around you. Because again, it's that sunny energy. Sometimes you guys might feel like you're always putting on a show for everyone around you. And it's like, well, what happens to the Leo person, right? Because it's like you guys are always uplifting everyone around you, but who's uplifting you guys? It's that sun energy. It's always burning, 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 burning. But sometimes you guys might get depleted, or sometimes you guys might feel disappointed that, you know, people aren't giving back the energy that you guys are giving to them. And a lot of the time, this placement, again, it depends where you have it in your natal chart or whether you have a stellium or not, but they're going to be very generous. They're going to be very giving. They're going to shower the people they love with things and even experiences and even just shows. You know what I mean? Like this particular placement wants other people to know about the people that they love. So they're going to be all about PDA, you know, putting on like a flash mob, or like, I don't know, like writing things in the sky with the planes, like this type of stuff. Like that's very much Leo energy. So it's all about the show. It's all about theatrics. It's all about being flashy and big and, you know, maybe talking with their hands and being seen is really what that is. Now, also another thing with the Leo energy is they're going to be known for their hair, especially if you guys have it in rising. There's always going to be something going on with the hair where it's like, it's just going to stand out whether you guys have hair, whether you guys don't have hair, or whether you guys have different hairstyles that you guys do, or you dye your hair. This energy can come off very full of themselves, but it's kind of like, is it being full of yourself or is it just being confident? I don't know. That's really the question here, because the solar plexus chakra does deal with confidence. It's all about having the faith in yourself. And again, you guys are here to shine. You are a star and you guys know this. And it's like when you guys feel like you're not shining, it's like you just don't feel like you're in your element is really what that is. Two things actually can happen. Sometimes when they're younger, they can have a domineering father. Again, the theme of the father, where it's like the father could be egotistical. The father could suppress your light. So you guys might actually have to work extra hard to be okay with shining. Because the thing is, you guys are going to shine whether you are aware of it or not. Whether you guys are trying to purposefully not shine for whatever reason, people are always going to notice you. People are always going to point you guys out. And again, when you're more in the more developed energy of Leo, you guys can be very much flashy, even with your outfits. Like again, it's all about the attention. You always know a Leo person. It's always big. Everything that they do is big in terms of their actions, in terms of their appearance, in terms of like maybe the cars that they have or houses or whatever, right? All these sorts of things obviously depends on the rest of your natal chart, but it's always going to be big. It's always going to be flashy, and you're always going to know a Leo person, and they're always going to stand out because you guys are here to stand out. You guys are here to be the star of the show. You're here to be seen. So that's the whole thing. So there could be a struggle with this because again, the energy you're meant to master, you guys might have struggles in that area when you're growing up. So you could have been a father that was egotistical, maybe even narcissistic, because Leo in the shadow can fall into narcissism because it does deal with the solar plexus. Keep that in mind. Solar plexus in the shadow is narcissism. So there could be an energy of this, or it could have gone in a different direction where it's like from young, maybe the parents use the child to be the star of the show so the parents could get recognition. There could be energy of this as well. That could have taken place. That's another thing that I've come across. But overall, there might be a theme of this when you guys are in school, when you guys are at work, where it's like maybe managers feel threatened by you because again, you guys are shining. It's like you guys can't turn off the sun. Like it's always there, you know? So it's like you guys are always going to shine. So you guys might have these ego issues and ego battles with people, especially if you guys are unaware. You guys might kind of be like, what's going on here? Why am I not getting the promotion? I feel like I deserve the promotion, but it's like the manager's threatened, or whoever it is. Maybe it's going to be in school or being best student or whatever it is. But it's like they don't want to prop you up because it's like, for example, in a management type of situation, they might be threatened that you might take their job or something of the sort. So you'll notice a lot of the time, even all fire signs, from at least what I've observed, they do deal with entrepreneurship in one way, shape, or form, where it's like they're working for themselves. They can be very good entrepreneurs. Again, it's on such a huge range. Sometimes you might even have politicians. Regardless of what way it manifests, you guys need to have the attention on you. You guys need to be talking. You guys need to be seen, and you guys need to be heard. It's kind of like a protruding type of energy if you think about it. It's like, it's pushy in the sense where it's like, it's that masculine energy, you know? It's penetrative. Is really what it is, for lack of a better term, because the masculine energy is very much like, I'm going to be seen. I'm going to go after what I want. And it's like, it keeps pushing until it gets to where it's trying to get to. And that's very much the Leo energy. The visual that I'm getting is like, you know, when an animal's trying to like squeeze into like a little hole and they're like pushing through that hole, it's actually a little cat that I'm seeing. It's actually super super cute. So that's kind of what's going on overall with the Leo energy. There's going to be issues surrounding the father, issues maybe then with authority in one way, shape, or form. It's not issues with like authority in terms of legal issues. It's just like issues with authority where it's like people see the light within you and they don't want to prop you up. So this might be a struggle for you guys, but overall, you guys are always going to find your way. It could even be doing videos like this where you guys are being seen, you need the attention on you, and you guys are here to shine. Now, because Leo does deal with the inner child throughout your life, you're going to notice that there's always going to be a theme of healing the inner child. Sometimes you might notice people who do have Leo placements to be teachers, like elementary school teachers, where they're working with children, because essentially what we're doing is we're healing ourselves. Anything that we're doing is we're trying to heal ourselves. So while doing these things, whether it's working with children or just being goofy and silly and funny and doing crafts, or like, let's say work at a corporate job, it could be like, I don't know, you guys decorate the office like when the holiday season arrives. So the whole thing here is like you're expressing the inner child because it wasn't allowed to be expressed. There's a suppression energy, or it wasn't seen. Maybe you guys expressed it, but it wasn't seen. So you're always kind of like, no, look at me, like notice me, like is really what it is. Again, whether you're aware of it or whether you're not aware of it, you guys always want the attention on you, and regardless, the attention is going to be on you anyways. That's what's interesting about Leo energy, because it's like, again, it's that sun energy, so people are going to notice you regardless. You guys are going to be very fun, you're going to be adventurous, you're going to be all about going on adventures and being spontaneous. You're going to be the ones who have all the ideas in the friend group in terms of like, let's go do this and this exciting thing. And since Leo does deal with love and relationships, again, love is going to be a huge thing for you guys. It's going to be very important for you guys to be loved and admired in your relationships. I've noticed in terms of relationships, Leo placements sometimes do date people or commit to people who feed their ego, who make them feel good, who make them feel nice, compared to maybe actually a loving situation. This is going to be very important to these individuals, and if they're not getting it in their relationship, they're going to get it elsewhere. That's the thing. So it's like, if you guys are dating someone who has a lot of Leo placements, or you yourselves have a lot of Leo placements and you're aware of this, maybe letting your partners know that it's important to you, or if you're dating someone who has a lot of Leo placements, maybe acknowledging them a lot of the time, giving them recognition. Like, they're gonna need a lot of these, like, I guess you can even say it's like words of affirmation, like boosting them up, propping them up, because it's kind of like that royalty energy. If you think about it, you know, it's like, I am royalty, I deserve to be treated like royalty. The ego might get in the way even of maybe some opportunities. For example, let's say a Leo individual is wanting to be like an actor or an actress. This person, like, maybe they audition for the main role and they get the secondary role. The ego might come up and they'd be like, I'm not interested, I'm not engaging in this, I'm not engaging with this company, versus like, whatever, taking the secondary role and eventually working your way into the main role. That's the thing. It's like, it's main character energy. They want to be the main character, and if they're not the main character right away, if they're not recognized, if they're not getting that recognition that they deserve, they don't want to engage in the situation, in the circumstance. Like, it's really on a huge range, but that's kind of the idea when the Leo energy is in the shadow. That's the thing. So you're always going to have this push-pull, like I said, between the ego and the heart, and that's really what you guys are going to have to master in this lifetime when you have this Leo energy in your natal chart. It's mastering the ego. Sometimes I've seen individuals who do have Leo in their natal chart and they're older, and I see how they've lived their lives, and I sometimes see how like ego driven certain decisions have been, and how it's kind of been like their detriment. You know what I mean? Whereas like the energy can be so beautiful if you integrate this within yourself. Now, another thing that I've noticed and observed with the Leo energy is that the Leo energy always has a karma surrounding kids. Now, it really depends in your natal chart to see what's going on. I mean, this is a general video for Leo energy overall, but there's always something going on with children. So it's either your own inner child, or it's working with children. Let's say you're an elementary school teacher, something of the sort, or you guys have kids of your own and there's a karma with your kids where it's like your kids are teaching you something or breaking down your ego, which is what happens more often than not when you do have children. But there's always a karma surrounding children when you do have Leo placements in your natal chart. And because they are a fixed sign, they can be very set in their ways, they can be very stubborn, they can get very comfortable, where it's like the Leo energy really wants you to come out of your comfort zone. And because they're fixed, they can be stubborn, and it can be like, no, I know what I'm doing, don't tell me what to do. There could be a huge energy of this as well with the Leo energy, where it's like all the fixed signs struggle with this. That's the thing with the fixed sign energy. It's like they all struggle with like almost like this blinder energy where it's like, no, it's my way or the highway. Especially even if you're arguing with them, you're probably not going to win the argument and the pride's gonna come up. It's like if two fixed signs are arguing with each other, there's no winning the argument. For example, in a Leo situation, their pride's gonna come up, they're not going to engage. Even if they want to maybe message the other person, they might not. And it's like they want the other person to come to them, and the other fixed sign, whoever the other fixed sign is, might feel like the Leo person should come to them. And that's the thing, two fixed signs, like in an argument, no one's gonna win ultimately at the end of the day, because it's like there's a lot of ego, and especially in the Leo situation, there's probably going to be a lot of pride, especially if they think that they're right, and especially if they feel like the other person wronged them. It's the heart of a lion. If you think about it, it's that expression, you know, the heart of gold, where it's like they give so much and they feel like they give so much of themselves, and it's like if this gets betrayed in any way, shape, or form, those walls are going to come up, and again, they're going to want the other person to come to them. But that's the overall idea deal with the Leo energy here. They're going to be very fun, friendly, exciting. They're going to need the admiration. They're going to need the accolades. They're going to need the recognition, even at their job. Let's say you have a Leo person who's your employee, giving them maybe employee of the month is going to be like a very good encouragement to keep that employee around. Because again, if they don't feel appreciated, they might leave the job. That's the thing. Same thing, any situation, the friendship, the relationship, the job, whatever it is, right? The project that they're working on, if they're not feeling appreciated, they're going to leave these situations, but overall, they're going to be very courageous. And one more thing that I do want to mention also before I wrap up this video is the Leo energy's biggest fear is going to be the fear of rejection. Yes, they don't want to be betrayed because they are super loyal. That's going to be there, but I feel like the fear of rejection is going to be even bigger. And for the Leo individual, this holds them back even more. Again, in opportunities and situations and relationships where it's like they fear rejection so much. So again, there could be like a person that you think is like the top level person and you want to date this person, and the Leo person might not go after them because of the fear of rejection, and then they might settle. This is something that I've noticed that happens sometimes with the Leo energy as well, where it's like sometimes they settle for situations because of the fear of rejection, even in jobs, like all these sorts of circumstances, but it's like you're not fulfilling that Leo desire. Like the desire is always going to be there to be seen. So it's like the best advice for these signs is to do things as many times as you can to basically get comfortable with being rejected. At the end of the day, rejection doesn't really matter to anyone other than you. Everyone gets rejected. Most people don't talk about the rejections in their life, right? You hear success stories and you think people became a success overnight. You don't know what they were doing behind the scenes. And it's like sometimes the Leo energy is kind of like a double Dutch game is really what I'm seeing. It's like they fear jumping in, they fear jumping into the game, into the opportunity, into the job, because it's like they fear rejection, because it's like, when you're playing double Dutch, you might get hit by the skipping rope. I don't even know if people play double Dutch anymore these days. But that's kind of the energy with Leo. That's something else that you guys are going to have to integrate within yourself so it doesn't hold you back. Because ultimately on the earth plane, the end goal when we cross out is that we fulfilled all the desires that we had for ourselves in our life, which means stepping out of the comfort zone, fixed sign energy, being okay with rejection, putting yourselves out there, and really, really allowing yourselves to shine. Because that's the thing, the Leo energy is here to shine. You're here to be the star of the show. So my dear friends, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I do hope you guys enjoyed my video on everything you guys need to know about Leo. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.